I can only imagine how much of a breath of fresh air Max Payne must have been to the gaming atmosphere 13 years ago. The game's style is an impressively flawless and refreshing mixture of film noir, Hong Kong shoot-'em-up cinema, and graphic novels. Unfortunately, I missed out on playing this game back in the day, so whilst I might not be entirely impressed by the game's technical achievements, I am impressed by how well the game holds up, as Max Payne is, by all means, an incredibly well-made game. The premise is that you play as Max Payne, a once policeman crossed family man driven into revenge after his wife and child are killed. The story is solid and rolls at a good pace with some twists. What's remarkable is how well the story is told. With occasional in-engine cutscenes, the story is mostly told through fully voiced graphic novel-style strips which are both stylish and effective. The writing in this game is very novel-like, drenched in metaphors and description, yet it never comes close to feeling overdone as it's very focused and the voice acting is excellent. It's also very quotable.
He was trying to buy more sand for his hourglass. I wasn't selling any.
The entire game is told from Max's perspective, complete with his self-narration throughout the game. Having Max Payne himself act as a catalyst for the events puts an emphasis on his own character, a cynical, hard-boiled cop pushed way too far over the edge. Whilst it does tell a good story, Max Payne, as the game's title implies, is more of a character study than it is anything else, something which feels very unique for a game, even today. As a player, you explore the depths of Payne's character and the trauma of his family's death. You even play through his nightmares and drug overdoses, which shift the entire focus onto him. Fundamentally, the storytelling in this game is second to none, and I don't say that lightly. Something subtle yet noteworthy is the way the game tells stories through its environment. At many moments in the game, you can optionally interact with an item or object in the game, such as a TV or radio, in order to uncover story elements. The game will then cut to graphic novel panels. This plays to the strengths of interactive storytelling, as it allows interested players to read into the subtext of the game, and players only in it for the action can simply skip past it all and get shooting. Additionally, the graphic novel panels have controls beneath them, giving the player the freedom to skip, replay, and rewind them at their leisure, which again plays to the strengths of the medium. The presentation is top-notch. Naturally the visuals are dated, but they still create a distinctive and strong atmosphere, and the animations are good. The sound design is excellent, as is the soundtrack. It significantly adds to the grim tone of the game and creates tension when necessary. The setting is very well realized and distinctive. The neo-noir, nighttime, snow-ridden New York is cold, brutal, and uninviting, not unlike Max himself. Kinda makes the two synonymous with one another. The environments all feel dense and realistic, and the level design is for the most part very well done, with focus put on enemy locations and cover placement. The levels are designed for the shootouts. I haven't talked about the shootouts yet simply because they're quite self-explanatory. As you can see, the game is a third-person shooter with its central mechanic being the ability to slow down time during gunfights in order to dodge bullets and improve accuracy. At the time, this was Max Payne's main selling point, as the idea of bullet time hadn't really been explored in video games yet. Obviously, since then the mechanic has been hung, drawn, and courted, so whilst the mechanic is no longer refreshing or impressive, it's still by all means fun to use. The gunplay is quick, intense, and brutal, as both Max and his opponents can't take many hits before death. It feels well balanced, and clever use of cover, painkillers to increase health, and bullet time is crucial. The hourglass at the bottom left of the screen represents bullet time. It decreases when you're in slow motion, and it increases when you kill enemies, adding a welcome element of risk-reward. Although it does on rare occasions, the game rarely strays from gunplay. This means that it can become repetitive in a long sitting, but that's not to say the game overstays its welcome. It's actually a relatively short game, but it's very focused and the length feels appropriate. When the game does stray from gunplay, it tries its hand at platforming, and honestly, Max Payne quite literally falls flat on its face. It boils down to a concoction of trial and error and lack of control, but the platforming segments are so few and far between that it only barely tarnishes the overall experience. The difficulty curve is also something that I feel needed improving. Max Payne is more difficult at the end than it is at the start, but not by all that much. The difficulty curve feels a bit wavy, which I think adds to the gunplay feeling a bit repetitive in long sessions. The game uses a quick save, quick load system. At any time throughout the game you can hit F5 to quick save the game. I swiftly got into a routine of quick saving after every big gunfight as I died very, very, very often. Others may disagree, but I would have much rathered frequent checkpoints instead of quick saves, not only to prevent save scumming, but because it takes me out of the moment having to hit F5 ever so often and waiting for the game to unfreeze after saving the game. If there were frequent checkpoints, the player would not have to worry about saving, and the developer could have better control of the difficulty curve. Then again, being able to quick save is a godsend during the trial and error platforming segments, so it's a welcome function there. The developers seem to be aware of this potential issue, as you unlock a mode that limits the amount of saves you can use each chapter upon completing the game. It's unfortunate that this is something you unlock after completing the game once though. With minor exceptions, Max Payne utilizes many influences and mechanics to create a very focused, very well realized game. The end result is a game which by all means stands the test of time, as to this day it's an intense, impactful and stylish experience that deserves to be played. Max Payne has a very distinctive voice, and it provides an insight into the employees at Remedy Entertainment. You can tell that they put a lot of care into this title, and it certainly paid off for them, as it created millions of fans, 2 sequels and a film. You owe it to yourself. Play Max Payne.